Mobile commerce, it's a term that's getting thrown around the business world with reckless abandon. But as we entered this research, we began to wonder, as the question remained, is mobile commerce a booming business or merely a beaten down buzzword gone bad?
The objective of our research is to find out just how willing Americans are going to be to pay for journalism and use their phone to pay for things like gasoline and for other goods and for trying to find journalism online. And then our hypothesis is that with enough security measures, Americans are going to take that step into accepting mobile commerce and paying for things via the cell phone.
In effect, the mobile commerce movement began in 1999 when the Japanese company NTT Docomo launched iMode, an application for phones which allowed Japanese consumers to pay for content both on their phone and in location. In a way, since then, the Asian market has taken off with mobile commerce. However, Western markets such as America have been slow to adopt it. Location-based services offer a number of practical uses. For instance, mobile banking for accounting or brokerage or financial information, mobile entertainment such as gaming, music and video downloads, or location-based entertainment services such as paying for a movie on the spot. There's mobile information services involving current affairs, travel info, tracking services. There's a chance for mobile marketing, specifically couponing, which will allow locations such as local locations to give coupons to their customers as they are in store. There's mobile shopping, for instance, if people care to shop online via their cell phone, or even if they want to pay on location using their phone as a credit card or charge it to a cell phone bill. There's, again, the option for mobile ticketing at sports and cultural events, at museums, for travel, for parking, and also telematics services allowing for perhaps even remote diagnosis of vehicles, navigation services, or vehicle tracking.
Mobile commerce is the ability to sell and buy goods using a mobile device. It's a section of e-commerce, but people are no longer tied to their computers like they used to. The term m-commerce came about in the late 1990s when .com websites took off on the World Wide Web. There are three basic types of m-commerce: carrier-based, credit card usage, and financial services. Carrier-based m-commerce uses a carrier's billing system to buy something from a mobile phone, allowing that person to add the purchaser to his or her monthly bill. The second type allows the person to replace his or her credit card with a cell phone by securely storing credit card information on the cell phone. The third type, financial services, includes money transfers and bill payments by means of wireless transactions.
Many Americans may be skeptical about the use of mobile commerce, but actually, they have been using mobile commerce for some time now. Cell phone users who have bought ringtones and games are using essentially the same concept of mobile commerce that is now being used on the iPhone with the App Store. Users can even buy multiple products using the Amazon.com app, which shows users a picture of the product they want and allows them to pay by credit card and have the product shipped directly to their home. On April 9th, after several trials, Visa finally was successfully able to launch a mobile payment program in Malaysia. Visa's mobile payment program includes proximity-based payments at physical point of sale, remote-based payment, which is either internet or SMS-based, money transfers, and it also includes mobile coupons, account management, and security alerts.
Of course, mobile commerce in the American market is not without its detractors and without its hurdles. For instance, most consumers have a severe distrust of putting their private information on their cell phones and the ability to secure that information. However, once again, the Asian market has disproven such theories, as Asian consumers are extremely willing to use their phones as credit cards in location-based services such as taxis, vending machines, and so on and so forth when they're able to swipe and yet still keep their privacy safe.
We conducted multiple interviews and found that most of the subjects were concerned about putting their privacy settings on their mobile phones. For instance, one businessman in his mid-50s said he wasn't trustful of putting his private credit card and debit card information and using it as a swipe on his cell phone.
In our interviews, other than the privacy issues, it seemed that with the younger crowd, the subjects under the age of 25 seemed to have an issue with money, having to pay for smartphones that would have the ability to do mobile commerce was an issue also.
After collecting research from other sources and talking to several subjects firsthand in interviews, we decided to set about getting more numbers and more data that we could work with. On a survey that collected about 650 results, we were able to determine a little bit more about the status of mobile commerce and its applications in the American market. Right now, mobile commerce in the American market is fighting sheer unfamiliarity. In the last 7 days, 95% of respondents said they have not made a purchase via cell phone. However, if m-commerce as a transition from e-commerce is valid, it means that perhaps in the future, mobile commerce will become even more and more viable as consumers have shown a trust for e-commerce and using online methods of payment. In fact, over 54% of respondents to the survey have made a purchase online in the last 7 days. However, mobile commerce's success is likely largely tied to the success of smartphones in the American market. Only 40% of respondents in a very educated and seemingly tech-savvy sample classified their phones as smartphones. However, the growth of mobile commerce may in fact be stunted by the slow growth of smartphones. 25% of the respondents did not plan to switch to a smartphone within the next 2 years, and even 15% of which elected and said they would never switch. As far as the cell phone of the future is concerned, there is an interesting divide about the role of mobile credit. 47% of respondents listed themselves as not at all interested in using their phone as a credit card, but the rest of respondents were very evenly distributed amongst different levels of interest. As touched on earlier, mobile commerce's biggest obstacle, consumer distrust, did show up as a problem in the survey. 32% of respondents listed themselves as, quote, very interested in strong data security for cell phones, with 13% electing this higher than any other option. However, presuming security was not an issue, consumers seemed remarkably indifferent about shopping online or shopping by cell phone if the privacy of their personal information was not an issue. 32.5% of respondents claimed to be not at all interested, with an almost even distribution of 11 to 12% for the interest levels, leading up to a 20% grouping of very interested respondents. And once again, the numbers are almost remarkably similar for people buying on the phone and buying in-store. 35% of respondents classified themselves as not at all interested, while 17% classified themselves as very interested. More than anything, American consumers have shown a hesitancy to pay for anything by phone. Of the 11 commerce-based options, the majority of respondents were not at all interested in mobile payment. The most interesting payment options to consumers were, in order, online purchasing, in-store location purchasing, gasoline purchasing, credit card purchasing, coupon downloading, and small purchases via a service like PayPal. Interestingly enough, though, the majority of respondents seemed to like online shopping. In fact, only 5% of respondents claimed not to like online shopping at all. However, the far and away winner for the type of shopping that was the consumer's favorite was in-store shopping. In fact, 47% liked the in-store option very much, 19% more than any other option. However, 66% of respondents said that they do not like cell phone shopping, quote, at all. This shows that consumers may be unaware of the ability to use location-based payment in-store to use mobile devices to expedite their in-store purchasing.
Survey results also indicate that most users are not willing to pay for any news content online with the availability of free online news content. Also, users are not usually willing to read news content on their cell phones. For now, these results seem to disprove that users are willing to pay for micropayments for news content on their cell phone.
The secondary research, the interviews, and the survey allow us to come to multiple conclusions about mobile commerce. First and foremost, lack of familiarity amongst consumers will continue to be a major obstacle. The mobile commerce revolution is one that is popular in Asian markets and amongst American techies, but the average American consumer still needs to be sold on the idea. A lot of the work needs to be done to prove mobile commerce is truly the wave of the future and not just a pipe dream, especially for publishers looking at mobile devices to save rapidly shrinking bottom lines. If mobile commerce is going to become a staple in the American market, it appears producers first must not worry about their content, but worry about their consumer and gain their trust.
As with any research, our research had its limitations. As for the survey, it was slightly skewed towards students and people involved in journalism. So for our next project or for future research, we would probably make the survey much more widespread.
Although there does appear to be a future for mobile commerce, at this point in time it seems to be producers and businesses that are pushing for mobile commerce, whereas consumers continue to be slow to adopt it.